and confused.
Train. It's been almost 2 years since the administration launched that rulemaking process to develop a federal standard for heat. And this week you said that the work is ongoing to develop that national standard. So can you give us an update on where that stands and what's taking so long?
So look, we knew that the federal law would require OSHA to go through a few steps, additional steps, right, in order to make regulatory changes, including a required small business review and consultation process that the agency is in process of right now of completing. And so that's why the Department of Labor kicked this process so early in the administration, because we knew it was going to take some time. And so they have been working urgently to get this done. But I want to be clear, the department, this is Department of Labor, has been taking action to protect workers this entire time under existing law, because there is an existing law. That's how we were able to do the heat alert under existing law. And so the president also recognizing protecting workers is important from heat, and that can't wait. That cannot wait. And so, we asked the Department of Labor to do this heat alert, which is going to which is going to matter and make sure we protect those very workers. But it's going to take some time on the new standard that you just asked me. That's why, again, the Department of Labor did it so early, and so they're working very diligently to get this done.
Close, very close, but wrong.
Timeline on how
I
much
don't
time?
have a timeline, but again, we understood that OSHA there's going to be some additional step to get there, and it's going to take some time, especially getting small businesses to, in changing regulations. And so, again, Department of Labor is on top of this, but we wanted to take a step, in between step, as we're waiting for that process, and that's why this heat alert is so incredibly important.
And secondly, you've said before that as it relates to 2x2s, it's a conversation that's had between the U.S. and the second country. It's not a unilateral decision. Today, Prime Minister Meloni is coming to the sticks. She's having a press conference at the Italian embassy. So it appears that it's the U.S. that does not want to have a joint press conference. Is that true? And if it's not, why aren't you having one?
Not say that is true. I was not part of the deliberation on this with our National Security Council. It is a conversation, as you stated at the top, that happens between two countries. I have not asked the National Security Council on this and how those conversations went, but usually it is both countries that agree on how to move forward. You would have to really speak to the Prime Minister on how they're proceeding and doing what they're doing today.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, as press secretary, you're not part of the conversation about...
With a diplomatic conversation with another country, that goes through the NSC.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Tester said today that he expects a Ukraine supplemental request to come from the White House by the end of the month. There's not a lot of days left in the month, so I'm wondering if that timeline is accurate and if you have more specific timing or any sense of size within the scope of that request.
No, I've heard this. We don't have anything to share at this time on any supplemental requests.
Kim Jong-un today met with Russia's defense minister. It was one of his first meetings with a foreign dignitary since the pandemic. He showed off some of his ballistic missiles that violate international law. I'm wondering if you have any reaction to this meeting and if it has raised concerns, whether about Russia or North Korea.
Don't have any comments about their meeting. We have always said that we leave the two countries to speak for themselves about any conversations that they have. We've been very clear about North Korea and their ballistic missiles. We've always been very clear about that. The lines, we are ready to have conversations with them. With Russia, we've been very clear about their aggressive war on Ukraine, and we've certainly have been very clear about that. And you've seen that in the alliance, the NATO alliance being stronger than it's ever been before. You've seen this leadership of this president globally. You've seen how he's brought in our partners, not just our allies, in making sure that we stand behind Ukraine as they're fighting this unjust war. I'm not going to speak to that meeting.
Don't change the subject.